Good evening, Peter.
How you doing, sir?
Not bad. How you doing?
I'm good.
Another Sunday.
Can't believe it. Do you know this is the fifth show since we started the new show? I can't believe it.
That's brilliant, eh? That's great.
Yeah, it's going great. It's going absolutely fantastic. So
we're getting some great feedback from the audience and viewers as well. It's great.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to tonight. We've got Beth Malcolm on and Davie Hunter. We're going to have a great night with these.
Yeah.
It's going to be great fun.
Yeah, fantastic.
Feel really good about it. So anybody that's out there that's watching, please share this about for us. The more the merrier. Can I believe there's Alan there. Hello, Alan. I can't believe the amount of Facebook likes we're getting and things now. We're nearly at 2,000 on the page, and
that'll be a big
as well. So
that's huge.
As well. Hi, as well. Good. So it's awful nice that everybody can join in and join us. But it's a real good feel show to it. It's good fun. And we've got guests lined up now for about the next month already. There's 2 guests a week lined up. So we ain't going anywhere.
Aye, no, good. It's all busy.
I mean, obviously you're the kind of the same as me. We don't know what's happening from day to day again. It's kind of taking a bit of a slump. It's a bit.
I'll tell you what has happened. That was quite interesting. As soon as I mentioned now and again on the show about there's Ali Meek talking about the teaching adults. That's what I've started getting into, adults that I've never played before that want to have a go. And when the message came through that we're having another kind of stricter restrictions, I got another few adults that asked me I teach. So keep getting in touch. I've got about 3 or 4 places that I can still teach. So if you're an adult and you're still wanting to learn, it's never too late. I've got all sorts of age groups from all sorts of countries. It's great.
What's the best way for folk to get a hold of you there, Ross?
Just on Facebook or Tay Piping. Yeah, anything like that. Just get in touch, because the good thing about this, every one of them is different. Like some are every fortnight, some just want videos sent. It's completely fingerprinted to whatever the needs are. It's great.
So if anybody's fancying a shot at the pipes, folks, there you go. Ross will
get you started.
Evening to the chungs. And but absolutely, Tay Piping. Ross has got a couple of systems on the go there for teaching adults as well as youngsters. And I like the way you're working it, that people can dedicate what time they can to it, kind of style thing, and come on when they can. Hello, John. John Simpson there. Hi, John. Gosh,
there's so big Alan McDonald that was on just before. Hello, Alan. How you doing?
And Christine and Gilson in the Alps. Yeah, brilliant. I hope I'm saying that name right, Gilson.
How was your week? What have you been up to? How's the book sales? Your book?
It's good. Yeah, it's doing all right. Yeah, they're kind of going about all over the place. It's quite interesting. The local guy up at the local post office hates me.
Does he?
He's like, what? No, you again. Why? All right, okay.
That's true.
Really good. And we've had a really good day. It's been a good day today. Grace and me's been playing Cluedo, and
there's the Wills there's Martin as well. The Wills that were on just before Martin there with their wee baby Hamish. You very generously you and Karen sent a nice hat that Karen's mother knitted, and it's a cracker. It's great.
A Fair Isle hat.
No, it's beautiful.
In between tonight, actually, mind me to say something about knitting.
Okay.
I'll say it in between our guests tonight, because I'll give folk a wee idea. Ken, how we're always going on about things that's cancelled and things this year, so we'll have a look there. So, hello, Mary and Orkney there. That's it.
That's good. You're getting strapped in. What are you playing tonight, Peter?
Mary was wondering what you had on under your kilt when you were up at Loch Rannoch the other day.
She better behave, Mary. Better behave. I'm not going to give the game away.
I like it in Sheffield. Goodness me. Excellent. Folk for everywhere. I'm going to play a wee set of reels tonight. I'm going to. Somebody there saying that Scala was not ready for them playing the pipes.
Yes, they are. I dare somebody from Scalloway to get in touch with me. I'll get you started.
Anyway, right, I'm going to do a wee set. The first one's a Shetland tune called Mary Pottinger's Reel. The second one's a Shetland tune called Spoot of Scary. And what was that? I'm telling you the wrong thing. No, that'll do. That's fine. That's what I'll play. Oh, and then Far Frae Hame. And then I'm going to do a tune that I wrote for Jim and Beth Malcolm. Beth's our guest tonight, and I wrote this tune when I met the Monotony, and we had a kind of sing-song on the ferry on the way back, so I called it Jim and Beth Malcolm's Sandy Song Fest. All right, so Song Feast, rather. So we'll get to that later on. So here's a wee set of reels. And
take it away.
Good. We'll see you in a minute. There we go.
That's a broad tune, that one.
Wee set of reels. Yeah.
Great. That last tune's fine, eh?
What was that?
That last tune's beautiful.
Cool. That's what we're going for. So, hi, Murdo. How you doing? Good. Yeah, so one thing when we were talking, just before we go on, you're going to play a set of tunes as well. When we were talking about things being cancelled this year, one of the big things that's cancelled up here just now is Shetland Wool Week. And it's a massive festival now. There's people come from all over the world every year for the week and do classes and knitting and farrell knitting and wool and all sorts of things. And we always split a ceilidh for them. on the Friday night usually, and a brilliant night. But it's amazing, people from all over the world, and so that's another wee thing that's been missing this year. So I think they're having a virtual festival of knitting. Because we have the world's fastest knitter up here. You see, there's a lady called Hazel Tyndall, and she holds the world record for the most stitches in a minute or something.
Aye, that's incredible.
So she brought out a video, and I did a wee bit of music on it for her. Doing it. So
good stuff.
It was interesting. So yeah. So you giving us a tune tonight? You been doing exciting things?
What's that now?
You've been doing exciting things?
What, playing?
Anything.
Oh, no. Well, I'm going to, when you mentioned about cancellations, I thought I'd play a set of jigs tonight that are the jigs that's played at the Atholl Highlanders gathering at the parade on the Saturday. So I'm going to play these jigs. It's the Thief of Lochaber, Rockin' the Baby, and the Blackthorn Stick, and Glasgow City Police at the end of it. And the slow air at the start of that set's usually the Lochte boat song, but I've played that last week. So I'm going to play a different slow air before it, see if anybody can guess. And I'm playing this one because the title of this tune's got something to do with the weather we've had this week. We had frost on the cars here this morning.
All right, okay.
So it's got something to do with that. I've had the heating on twice this week. So
what was that? The clue was the clue about a car or about the frost?
About the weather.
All right, okay.
So you get 10 points if you can guess what the tune is. The slow air. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, blast them with it. Take it away, man.
This is the slow air and the Atholl Highlanders jigs. That's better. Very good. What's that? Unicorn. That's a funny looking unicorn. Put these legs here. Look at these legs, Peter. I think your microphone's off, Peter.
There we go. There you
I
go.
can hide these legs. I've seen better legs hanging out a nest.
What kind of nest? Right.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. The jigs there. Jigs. Nice jigs. Haven't heard the Thiefy Locaba for a long time, actually.
Aye, good wee jigs.
Aye. Good tune. Good tune.
Very good.
Brilliant. Right. Well, listen, we've got a couple of really cool guests tonight. So I think we should bring on our first guest, and we're going to bring on Beth Malcolm. So hopefully Beth's with us. And tell a joke or something until Beth joins.
What do you call a musician without a girlfriend?
Homeless. Shouldn't say that, just now, probably. I was interested in Leonard Brown done a live broadcast last night on Radio Scotland with his band, and he sent me a photograph today. You know, it was in Pacific Quay in Glasgow. And it was a great broadcast, but he sent me the photo, and see when you saw them, all the five of them on stage spread out 2 meters apart.
Yeah.
Some distance, you know, and they were even said, even with the best of monitors, it was quite difficult to see what happened.
It's funny, I was looking at a lot of old videos, some good stuff, and that's quite often how the Dubliners played. You know, they had a very spaced out wide stage presence.
Big thing there. So, right. So I'm going to play a wee tune now because we're obviously got a little connection thing here that Beth's not there, which I'm sure we shall sort out.
Good stuff.
So here's. It's all right. Hiya, Beth. You've just saved.
How you doing?
You've just saved everybody for having to listen to me again.
Aye.
Oh, thank goodness, that was a close one.
How
are you doing, guys?
Aye, great.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm just chuffed to be able to do a gig, you know, with my pajamas on in the bottom half. This is great.
Yeah.
I've just been told off for having my shorts on for Ross here because Ross is always very smart. He's always got a tie on and things.
Yeah, I've never done a gig where I've taken my bins out, you know, 45 minutes before I was on stage. So we're doing well on a Sunday night here.
It is what it is, isn't it? It's a bit strange.
Aye,
but
it is a bit strange.
But the strange thing as well is we're starting to get used to it, though. We are starting to get a wee bit used to it.
I know. You kind of forget how to talk to folk in the way that you used to as well, and you have to remind yourself when you bump into them.
I remember.
I think the thing that's interesting about it is that people, as an audience, they don't actually realise we're still here performing, but we're not getting feedback from them to the same extent.
I know. I don't think that I realised how important it was to get that feedback, even if it is sporadically, which it is for me, because would be gigging, once a month maybe. But you miss out that feedback. But then again, you've been getting it online, which has been a really good thing.
There's a lot of the same stuff, but it's just in different. It's just coming back to you different. And I think somebody in the show a couple of weeks said that a lot of band players, whether it's pipe band or band musicians, are having to learn how to play solo again. You know?
Yeah. I think we need to just set up a little clapping machine in your room so that when you're, practicing, you can get that going. I think
and the big applause sound.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I don't get that from my family because the kids just look and go, "Oh, will you please
not
stop
again?"
Just don't. Angus said, "Just don't, Dad."
Well, we've been really enjoying your, especially your daily tunage in the in peak lockdown times. That was great. With your pink hair as well, you're smashing it.
Wow.
Yeah,
I was quite fun. Some of that was a bit
50 Shades of Peter.
But you know something? There was only one thing went really wrong with that. With the 50 Shades of Peter was after the second time, Karen put some stuff on it to take the dye out or something. And
Oh no.
every time my hair got wet after that, it smelled like rotten eggs. It was horrendous.
Oh
And it
dear.
hung about for about a month. It was a good job though. Good job though in lockdown, actually.
Oh dear.
But turned
Beth,
up anyway.
your names came up in the thing, and in brackets it said Perth, but you're not in Perth, are you?
No, I've jumped ship. I'm a traitor. I'm now teaching just outside Edinburgh, so I have moved just in the last few months to Edinburgh, which has been great. But no, I'm from Perth, and spent most of my childhood there. It's only really recently when I went to study in Glasgow, and then now I'm living in Edinburgh that I've moved from there. So it's definitely home for me. Perth.
So what was it you studied? Did you study history? Am I right?
I did study history, yes, and now I'm teaching history. Yeah.
Well, there's going to be plenty of history to talk about this year for a long time.
Yeah, I keep saying that to them. This right now is history, and they just roll
absolutely.
their eyes sort of smack the back of their heads, and
Yeah. I found I think it's really hard for young people just now at the age they're at, this in between thing that's going on, because when we were in full lockdown and we were teaching remotely, I was teaching remotely to houses, and that was almost kind of exciting for them. That they quite liked that. But when this in between thing's very difficult for them, very difficult to get focused.
Yeah, but school feels normal at the moment. It's sort of there's lots of antibacterial spraying going on, but otherwise it's a nice place to be. I found actually with singing that teaching is a really good way to harden up your voice. Scraping away at pupils to get their hoodies off and their pens out. It turns out it's really good for the old vocal cords. So. It's turned out to be a good combination.
And of course, you are a singer, and you're going to give us a song or two tonight. But one of the things one of the things that's happened in schools, of course, is we're not allowed to sing.
I know.
We ain't allowed to sing or play brass, and it's quite sad and heartbreaking. And one of the schools I was in the other day, and the wee girl said, "Am I allowed to go outside and stand in the middle of the playground and sing? Because I just want to sing." And it's quite sad.
I know it'll happen again.
Hopefully, yeah. So obviously, you've been very busy on the professional front then with your job. So, are you still putting in some music as well?
Yeah, I certainly am. And actually, it's been I've had a couple of months right at the beginning where I didn't feel very creative, to be honest. I was maybe learning other people's songs quite a lot, but not writing my own stuff. And then a couple of months in, I kind of got out of the funk, and I was going to play you a song that I wrote in lockdown, actually. It's kind of set in Edinburgh, my new home, and it's all about persuading someone to become a folkie, to give up the accountancy and go for the folk music thing. So maybe quite relevant for right now, although that wouldn't be a good move in 2020, I reckon.
No.
Whatever you're doing, don't give up your job and be a musician in 2020.
This financial year, just stick with what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's called Northwards, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm gonna play for you now.
Brilliant, thank you. Good.
Okay. Come ye northwards, homewards to me. I'm afraid if you stay away any longer, you'll forget how it feels to be skin and free and odoricky in January, watching the sun rise up on you in 10 in January. Come ye northwards, homewards to me. If you're coming, there's a train running, and I'll greet you where the mile meets Newington. To be skin and free and odoricky in January, watching the sun rise up on you in 10 January. Saturdays drinking at the Oak. And your ma'll be no best pleased that you've given up accountancy for the folk. Aye, but once you decide you're just a P45 from the next Davie steel, come ye northwards to Edinburgh and see how you feel. Come ye northwards, homewards, 'cause that's what I'll be. Heading down College Street, chasing the revelry of drunken folkies, to be broke and alive in an otherwise broken society, where power and greed has succeeded all sense of community. Oh, and we won't have a lot of money, but we'll spend our Saturdays drinking at the Oak. And your ma'll be no best pleased that you've given up accountancy for the folk. Aye, but once you decide you're just a P45 from the next Davie steel, come ye northwards to Edinburgh and see how you feel. Though there's little scope for promotion, you'll be brilliant at the tunes. Your retirement plan's just a flash in the pan, but you'll be bloody brilliant at the tunes. And someday when you die, there'll be tears in their eyes saying he was bloody brilliant at the tunes. And we won't have a lot of money, but we'll spend our Saturdays drinking at the Oak. And your ma'll be no best pleased that you've given up accountancy for the folk. Aye, but once you decide you're just a P45 from reviving your dream, you'll come northwards to Edinburgh and give life a try. Hey.
Absolutely fantastic.
Hey, thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic.
Cheers.
Super.
That's great. And I really like that you can really hear that Scottish accent when you're singing as well. You've got the
which is not something that I really used to do. When I was much younger singing. I think even though I've grown up around a lot of Scottish people singing in their own accent, you still kind of, once you're into your Hilary Duff and your Avril Lavigne and all this stuff, you do kind of replicate that Americanism thing. But yeah, it's definitely something I think is really important in folk music.
You've been likened to the likes of Amy MacDonald and Katie Tunstall. You can hear that kind of.
Oh, well, I'll take that. That.
That's good. Fantastic.
And Joni Mitchell and Nora Jones. So I think
good company.
You're all right. You're doing fine. Now, what got you into singing? What got you into singing to begin with? You grew up with it, did you?
Just pure indoctrination, really. My folks are big into their folk music and sing a lot, and was always kind of forced to sing at family gatherings and things until I started to enjoy it myself. Took piano lessons and realised that I could then accompany myself, which then just snowballed into started writing and I really enjoy it now. It's something that I would like to do, and I was hoping to do a lot more of this year, and I think that has been one sad part of 2020 is sort of losing those summer gigs like everyone did. But I'm hoping that next summer we'll continue to gig as much as possible.
When did it go from singing for your family to knowing that it was going to be releasing EPs and gigging?
I don't know. But I mean, I had written quite a lot by the end of school and had a kind of EP's worth, a whole 6 songs at that point, and recorded it over summer and just tried to get little support slots and stuff. Gigging.
I don't think there's that many people that have left school that have got 6 songs written, so I think you've done pretty well there.
Yeah. And at least one of them was all right. Yeah.
Well, that's good. But what way did you feel like? It was interested me. You're doing very well with your songwriting. You've won awards now.
Yeah.
You won the Edinburgh
songwriting competition. Yeah, well, that was a really nice moment. I just moved to Edinburgh, and all these competitions, they happen all over Scotland, but you don't really know about them until you know about them, if that makes sense. And so I've started entering things a lot. I entered another song in a competition that Feis Rois were organising in Scottish Natural Heritage, and I was a winner for the Perthshire category as well. So I'm finding that these are the things that you kind of have to make yourself enter, but it's a really good way of getting your music out there.
Absolutely.
You can't win the Perthshire things and live in Edinburgh.
Yeah, I know. It's not good PR. I know. I'm sorry. I did spend a good few years there, though. So
on writing, inspiration for writing. Obviously, that last song you done, you were inspired by what was happening round about it.
Sure.
I'm what was inspiring you to write?
I don't know. I'm a huge Green Poor fan. I love the way she writes about really particular places. And it's the same with Joni Mitchell. They focus in on a moment or in a place, and I think when you're starting out writing, you just tend to write about that one really specific time when you're just started seeing somebody and you fancy them, and that is essentially all that you write about for the first 5 years, I think. And I think now I'm starting to branch out of just that. Although, I think, I'm trying. I think place is definitely my biggest inspiration for writing.
Lots of recognisable lyrics in that song. The one you just sang out. If you know Edinburgh, you know the scene. You know there's, or if you've had a P45, like maybe I have.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought I might play my winning song from that competition that I was talking about. It's about Mary Queen of Scots, actually, and it's something I'm teaching at the moment, which is quite funny. I think if I sang it to my pupils, their skin would crawl, but I'll save it up for maybe the last day of term or something. But no, it's about
maybe you should do it now in case it goes down a bomb, because it'd be a shame if it goes down a bomb.
True.
It'd be terrible if you sung it on the last day and they all went, "Wow!"
Yeah, it's true. But no, it's a song about Mary Queen of Scots, and she spent a year on an island in the middle of Loch Leven, which is in Perthshire. And it's a story of sort of female friendship, and she's imprisoned there, and she's looking out at the beautiful nature around and wishing she was free. And I'm going to pair it with a little Jim Reid song. It's called The Grey Lag Geese. I'm going to play that and sing that first, and then I'll head into my song, which is called Leaving Loch Leven.
Leaving Loch Leven. Super.
The summertime is bonny, and most folks say they like it best of all. But others I think missing. The grey lag geese have all flown far away. When autumn comes in smear, the wind grows cold and nicks are growing black. There's I think scented cheer me says again, the greylark's back. I envy all the wild geese who can just fly to countries o'er the sea, to Norway, Greenland, Iceland. They ken the way of living wild and free. When you're leaving Loch Leaving, tell me, what will you do? Like the red pole she sings in spring, I'll follow the call of the curlew. When there's a spider from my window, time and tide ago, she was down where the mosses grow and the winds blow. But where will you go and what will you do? Lass, I'll follow the call of the curlew. But how will you hide and where will you bide? Lass, I'll learn to fly. Your gal is my queen, but what to fear thee? Well, then I'll die loch inside among Delphinion. When you're leaving Loch Leaving, will you sail by the daylight? Like the red pole she sings in spring, I'll follow the call of the curlew by nightfall. When there's a spider from my window, kissing catkins on the willow, down where the hazel grows and the winds blow. But where will you go and what will you do? Lass, I'll follow the call of the curlew. But how will you hide and where will you bide? Lass, I'll learn to fly. Your gal is my queen, but what to fear thee? Well, then I'll die loch inside among Delphinion. And I'll fly south to Africa when the rain turns cold in October. And I'll grow wise with my bird's eye and Perthshire's far behind. But I will return when my heart starts to yearn for the north. And I'll scatter new seeds of freedom by the banks of Loch Leaving. When you're leaving Loch Leaving, matey, will you think of me? I'll hold you to my breast as I crawl in the nest with the curlew. And when first you spy me from the window, when time and tides have run, I'll be down where the mosses grow and the winds blow. But where will you go and what will you do? Thank you.
Man alive, well done.
Cheers.
Incredible voice. Incredible voice. I think straight after you're singing there, how do people get? What's the best way to get your music?
Yeah, so the best way is to go on www.bethmalcolm.com, and if you go to the EP section, you can buy one of those. That would be great. The newest one is called Choose My Company, and it's only sort of 11 months old. So it's got a lot of my tunes on it. Not that one, but it's got yeah.
A great song.
Tunes on there. Thank
I was
you.
on your
Because when I met you
Yes.
last year, it was the first time we met up in
Orkney,
the Orkney
yes,
Folk Festival, and you just brought out the other EP at that time.
Yes.
And because you remember you started selling it that night.
I know.
when we were there.
It was that was a nice place to start it all in Orkney.
Yeah.
That was such a fantastic festival.
It was great fun.
Yeah, and
We
you,
were
you
actually-
mentioned the sort of session that we'd had on the ferry, back from a gig on an island off of Orkney, and that was a very special moment.
Sandy.
Raw sailing, Sandy. Yeah.
It was some night.
If anybody wants to see that, I mentioned that video earlier when we were on the sound check. But if you've not seen that video, if anybody doesn't know what a session or an impromptu is, get on Beth's webpage and have a look at the bottom. There's a YouTube, and they're sitting there. Peter, you're sitting there with the accordion, and there's a mix of musicians, and you're singing. And then I don't know who the guitarist was, but by the end of the video, everybody's singing and playing. And it's a fantastic piece. It's beautiful.
If I'd known that was happening, I'd have brushed my hair or something. It really was. It wasn't,
Me too.
It was
Me
very
too.
impromptu.
So would I. But there was two guitar players there. Your dad was there. Jim Malcolm was sitting playing.
Yep, he was.
And,
yep.
And the guitar player that plays in my band, Arthur Nicholson. So it was the two guitar players.
And Jamie, was it Jamie was playing as well?
Yeah, Jamie, Marv, we called himself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy Kane and myself, and it was great. It was lovely. It was the fastest hour and a half.
I know.
Journey on a boat. Usually these things seem to take for days, but that was really quick. And we actually stopped at another island, didn't we? And dropped somebody off apparently. I didn't realise that. It was such
it's a great
good
service
fun in
you
the
get
session.
out there.
Yeah. They kind of they pulled up next to this island, threw somebody off, and put somebody else on. And
he had a funny look, that one. Wasn't welcome.
We're just going to pull into this island and wait for the captain to sober up, and then we'll get to Orkney.
We're looking for a better session than this, so we'll get off here.
I'll tell you who else. The Poozies were on board that day as well.
They were.
They were all there.
It was good fun.
But also styles of music, genres of music. You've kind of moved about a wee bit, haven't you?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think that even in the last year or so, I have been singing more. I mean, more trad songs and more folky stuff than I did, even a few years ago. And again, I think I just, as I was saying, place is what sort of attracts me to new songs and what I tend to write about. And I love the way that folk does. I mean, it's all you can go to the places that you're singing or listening, to and about. I love that about it. But yeah, I'd say I'm sort of definitely wandering over to the more folky side of things.
Because you done a thing with the big band as well. That was where.
Yeah. So my Dorian Cloudsley, who he's played guitar with me for the last few years. He's a fantastic guitar player and arranger too. He arranged that his Fat Suit, his jazz collective. There was about, I think, 12 or 13 of them playing one of my wee songs, which was fab. But yeah, that's something else to check out. You can find that. I've pinned it to the top of all my things. It's a lovely session with really great musicians.
Did he play with you? You kind of got together. You won a Danny Award at Celtic Connections.
So the year before that, or maybe even 2 years before that, I met Dorian at Danny Kyle, which neither of us won at. I just saw him playing and asked if he would, if he'd play with me, and and then a couple of years later, I won it, which was really lovely. That was just this January past. which was really, really good fun. I'm sad that I don't think Celtic Connections is going to happen in the way that it would have next year. So I don't know if we'll.
Have there been online competitions? Piping, obviously. There's lots of big piping competitions through the years, solo piping, and I think they've been quite successful online. And and through the winter, they're going to carry on. But has that been the same for singing, or is there such a?
I don't know. I mean, this is actually my first. This is my first live anything in lockdown. I'm planning on doing a wee gig in a couple of months' time. But I would say there has been people consistently gigging online, and but I don't think there's been so many I think Glenfarg did a competition, the folk festival, but otherwise
the Danny Kyle competition. The Danny Kyle. How do you what do you have to submit? What do you have to do for that?
So it's really easy. It's online. You just have to submit, about yourself and maybe a clip or two of you, performing anywhere. It doesn't have to be live. It could just be you in your bedroom. But they welcome everyone to enter, and whatever happens, if you get chosen to go through to the to the acts, they have a show every day of Celtic Connections, and a lot of people go to that gig because it's a free Celtic show, and you've got the promise of at least a few really great acts and lots of new tunes and music. So it's definitely something to go for if anyone's thinking of.
Ross, how does the piping one work then? Do you just submit a video you playing?
Yeah, I think they did that. They tried a few things. I could try that. I could have about 45 goes to get some.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they did, and then some of the latter
in disguise. Yeah.
Peter with his orange hair, blue hair, green hair. But then I think what they did for some of the other competitions, what they did was you had a time slot where you had to come in and do that.
Okay. Well,
Beth, have you got anybody that inspired you, or do you have anybody that you always go to and think, I'd like what that person does, but even if it's not folky or rock or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I love Cream Power. I love her writing. I think she's fantastic, and I try to take on board what she's doing. I love Chris Drever too. I really sort of modern interpretations of folk with lots of really lovely lovely songwriting. I love Sarah McFadden as well of the Posies. I think she's a fantastic songwriter. She manages to write, about sad things in a funny way, which I think is the sort of, that is the hardest thing of all to do. I'll never forget her singing that song all about islanders to a bunch of islanders in Orkney. It was so funny. So I love lots of female folkies that I've been listening a lot to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sarah was brilliant. That song she sung about fresh blood on an island or something like that.
Oh, it's so good.
It was really nearly a touchy subject, but it was so funny and presented the way she done it. It was just brilliant.
Fresh blood. We're needing some new fresh blood around here. Yeah, she's so good. She's so good.
So it was great interesting. So, listen, thank you so much. I can't believe we went through so much time here already.
I know.
Just been an absolute joy.
Yeah, well, thanks for...
See, when you do go to do your gig, when you go to do the live gig, will you please let us know, and we'll advertise it on all our Facebook pages and everything like that.
That's really kind of you. I will do.
Make it sure. Have you got a song that you would like to finish with tonight? Or?
Well, I was thinking I should finish on Bra Sailing, because that's the song that was on the famous Sandy Ferry. So I'll finish with this, but thanks very much for having me on, guys. I've really
thank you so
enjoyed
much.
You've jazzed up my Sunday night.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks, Beth. Thanks.
And there come a letter yesterday, our shipman sailed the morn. Alas, cried the bonniest lass that ever I was born, and this bra sailing on the sea, when wind and better to be in my love's arms. Oh, getting that I were there, and he's came into her father's house at 12 o'clock at noon. The lassie being proud-hearted, she would not let him in, and this brought sailing on the sea when wind and weather's fair. It's better to be in my love's arms. Oh, gin that I were there, and he's ta'en a ring from his pocket. It cost him guineas 3, saying, "Tak that, my bonny lad, and I think we'll owe me." And his bra sailing on the sea when wind and weather's fair. It's better to be in my love's arms. Oh, gin that I were there. And she's ta'en a ring from her pocket. It cost her shillings 9, saying, "Tak that, my bonny lad, for I had changed my mind." And this bra sailing on the sea when wind and weather's fair. It's better to be in my love's arms. Oh, gin that I were there. Hey, cheers.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well,
Thank you.
I could listen to that all night. That's great.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Really.
Yeah, just lovely. Thank you so much.
No,
Beth.
thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah,
great to
and
see you
you.
again. Hopefully we'll
Let's
get
keep playing.
Hopefully we'll
Yeah.
all get
Yeah.
a tune somewhere
Keep
again.
it-
Preferably in the
We're-
middle
we're
of,
actually
you know, the
supposed to be-
Arcadian Sea somewhere, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're supposed to be there this year, but it was all
know.
cancelled, so we are booked for
I
next year.
know.
So if you're not doing anything next year, we're there. So listen,
Fab.
thanks so much for giving up your
Yeah.
time on a Sunday night coming on.
Keep in touch with
Ladies
us,
and
Joe.
gentlemen,
It's
Beth
been great
Malcolm,
fun.
please
Cheers.
go and visit our website, Beth's website, and try and get the EPs there. There's the 2 of them that you can. I'm sure she's quite happy if you buy both of them. It's
Oh,
okay. You
yeah.
don't just have to buy one.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Mhm.
Right.
Christmas is coming, you know.
Christmas is coming indeed. Well, keep in
And
touch with you, Beth, and
Yeah,
If there's
let us
anything-
know when you're going live. And we'll,
Yep, I
we'll
will
push
do.
it big time.
Yeah.
Beth,
Appreciate
thanks
it.
so much. Thanks.
Cheers, folks. See you
Good night
soon.
just now. Good night.
Bye.
well,
Thank you.
well,
Well,
what a voice,
well,
Peter. What a voice.
yeah.
Just a young
yeah.
girl. I think she's in her early 20s. I don't think that was mentioned how young she is, but she's got a
Yeah.
long career.
I remember when we were up that festival that weekend, and it was actually her dad, Jim Malcolm, that was on the bill, and Beth as well, I think. But of course, I'd known Jim for Old Blind Dogs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And he kind of went on and done a couple of songs and things, and then this young lass came up and sat down at the piano, and we kind of thought, "Oh, this is his daughter," and then she started singing, and you were like, "Wow!"
Yeah, incredible voice.
And you could have heard a pin drop in that hall.
And that's the kind of voice she's got. You're just riveted. And I like I said at the start, the Scottish accent really, really draws you in. It draws you in.
Yeah, well, that's what we're kind of talking about, isn't it? We're Scottish. We're pushing traditional music, and if it's done like that in that accent, I think it's great. It's really good.
Indeed. I don't think our next guest's a very good singer, but he's a good piper, I think.
Do you think so? Well, we could maybe make him sing and see.
Try him out.
He maybe only knows songs with rude words. So.
Yeah. Well, is it 9 o'clock yet?
Yeah.
How we doing?
Davie? Hi, Davie. Ladies and gentlemen, Davie Hunter for Dundee.
How you doing, Davie?
I'm good, Ross. Yourself?
Thanks for great. Thanks for joining us at this time of night on a Sunday.
It's getting past my bedtime.
What song are you going to start with?
I'm going to sing "I Dreamed a Dream" by.
So did I. Magic saying you do it. We've got so much to speak about. I'm going to let Ross interrogate you for a wee minute.
Here we go.
Well,
he's been practicing all these really difficult words and.
No, I wouldn't do that to anybody. Well, I'll do it to a few folk, but I wouldn't do it to you, Davie. But I'll let I'll let you interrogate yourself. Where are you from? Just give you the audience a bit of a background.
So I'm born in Dundee and I've been back here since '96. My dad was in the RAF, so I travelled about a bit. But kind of settled in Dundee since '96, and that's where I started piping in the Dundee school system, which was taught by Ian Duncan at the time. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where it started for me in general. I believe in my family, my dad's auntie's niece also played with drum. You can listen back in the 70s, but it's not kind of direct line to me. So there's really no pipers in my family at all. The closest you get is a couple of accordion players, and that's really it.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing.
There's nothing at all. Right. Nothing at all.
I got in there before Ross did.
Don't mention the box. See, anytime there's someone that plays the pipes on, he gets awfully defensive. It's a shame.
Oh well. And then I started playing with the Men's Affinity Pipe Band in Dundee, which was in 2001, I think it was. I was a very slow learner. So like 96, 2001 before I got on the pipes. Played
how
old were you,
Davie? How old were you when you started?
I was 9 when I started. 96, yeah. Oh, it's 9-year-old. And just kind of went from there. Done a few kind of decent sized gigs. I did Braemar with the Men's Affinity Pipe Band in 2002. They went on to do the Olympics in Beijing in 2008, which was an interesting gig for them. But I left them in 2007 and joined the RAF Pipe Band over at Lookers, and went to Gibraltar, South Korea, France, Germany, Switzerland, Australia, Latvia, Germany. Yeah.
Did you upset people in all these places that you had to keep moving to the next place?
Usually I go places twice. It's the second time to apologise.
What were these get? Were these tattoos that you were doing? Because I know the RAF band is a very big band, isn't it?
We do. On a good day, we can put out 156 bandsmen, which across the bands across the UK. So that's from Lossiemouth, Central Scotland, Halton, Waddington, and then 2622 reserve band at Lossie. Yeah.
Lossie, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can join the RAF band, but not be in the RAF as a acting service.
With the RAF bands, unlike the army bands, they are a voluntary service. If you're a serving member, then you can get in and you can use it. You can be deployed to events like the tattoo and things like that for the 4 weeks. And then if you're a local member, you can play with the band if you're up to standards, and then get to use your own holidays at work to do these things. And just take it from there. It's really, really good. We were lucky with the fact that when the army took over at Lookers, they kept the band as Central Scotland, because there was a time where we thought we might lose the band from that area, but we were lucky enough to keep it.
But that's I'm right in saying that the Scottish Dragoon Guards are there. Is that right?
That's Scottish DGs are there, and there's a unit from the Arena as well, the Royal Engineers.
That's not a bad thing for your pipe band to be stationed with the Dragoon Guards, the Scots Dragoon Guards there,
Yeah.
especially with Ben Duncan at the wheel, you know.
Well, where our band room is, we're right next door to the Scottish DG's band room, which is it's rather amusing when there's lots of blue kicking about and then they turn up.
Yeah, because you wear that bright blue tartan, don't you?
We do, yeah, the Royal Air Force tartan.
Ah,
yeah, that was first worn at the tattoo in 2004. Prior to that, all the bands wore their own individual tartans.
Yeah.
The only ones that still wear the individual tartans is 2622 that wear the Grey Douglas. And that was apparently the original tartan for the Royal Air Force. It was the one that they were allowed to wear as part of their mess dress. So they keep that as kind of tradition.
Okay.
When was the last Edinburgh tattoo you were on?
I was on the 2016 tattoo. No, 2016 I was on, and 2015. 2015 I was with the Royal Air Force, and in 2016 I was guesting with the 1st Battalion of the Royal Irish under Pipe Major Josh Bruce. So that was an interesting tattoo. Wearing the saffron kilt was good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, saffron kilt. Yeah.
I'm going to change the subject slightly here, and David, I don't know if you know this, but Peter's got a book out.
Has he? I've got this doorstop. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I've got that doorstop as well. Actually,
I've got a couple of boxes here.
I had that doorstop until I flew it in Loch Rannoch 2 days ago.
I was wondering if David, you don't fancy giving us a wee tune, do you, and something, and then we'll go back to that, Ross. I think we'll speak about what you're leading on to. I think.
Okay, I'll play us at 9/8 marches.
Good.
The first one is called Mr. and Mrs. Meek's Welcome to Kilkenny. That's written for my good pal Ali Meek and his wife. Ali Meek is, of course, a member of the Atholl Highlanders. And the second tune is called Shilly and Fitz, which is named after Sam Shillingford and Lee Fitzpatrick, who are tailors in Abernethy, off the Ardor, sorry.
Right, okay.
And these are two tunes in my new book, may I mention.
Yep.
This
is two of your compositions, because we're going to speak about that after you played them as well, how you have been composing a lot of stuff. And books and things. We'll be here to midnight, actually. Probably. And Ross goes pale about 10:30 or something.
My battery and my computer's running out at 9:20, Peter. I'm just letting you know that. Well done.
Brilliant. Oh boy, what pipes is this you're playing?
This is a set of Fred Morrison real pipes.
Okay.
In the key of A. So they're a lot louder than the small pipes that Ross plays, but not as loud as Highland pipes. So I'm going to move back a little bit from the camera just in case.
played, well played.
Thank you much.
Good stuff.
Thank you, Lord.
Very nice. A couple of 9/8s there.
Yeah.
That first 9/8 that you played 2 years ago, the Athol Highlanders went on a battlefield tour to France and Belgium. And Ali Meek that you mentioned, I was in the middle of a set of tunes. So the pipes were getting passed around the tour bus. I can't remember how many were out there. I think there's a full bus. There's Ali Meek there. And Ali came up and we'd all been drinking juice on the bus and I'd been putting my pipes against the and I was halfway through the set and Ali Meek came up with the smallest phone you've ever seen with a photograph of the manuscript and he said, play that. So I've got bad eyesight, so I've got this thing on this bus that's going like this. I did the tune no justice anyway, but it's a good tune. And I know
it's fine.
It's cracking. It's something I really like about your compositions. You've sent through quite a bit to me. And you're writing stuff like 9/8s and 3/4s and 4/4s and all that. It's not just a book of jigs and reels.
Yeah.
And there's so many folk I think fall into that wee trap that they end up just writing jigs and reels and jigs and reels.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest issues with books now is it's really easy to write a jig. It's really easy to write a reel, but to write a 2/4 competition style march it's very difficult. In my book, I've got 3 2/4 marches in there, and all of them have been written. Well, actually, 2 of them have been written during lockdown. One of them was written a few years ago, and it was only really a 2-parter, and it kind of built up to 4 parts. But it's not something I play normally. In the pipe band, we're a grade 4A pipe band, so we're not playing really heavy 2/4 marches very often. So it's difficult to write them if you're not playing them. But when you're playing in the sessions, you're playing jigs and reels and things like that. It's really easy to just kind of go off on a tangent and write your own stuff that way.
But I also think by writing, and I've had a couple of messages this week saying, like, with my book that came out with the tunes that some folk were writing and saying we can play these tunes. It's really good. I've got the book and I can actually pick it up and I can play a few. And I think that's really, really important. And like what you're saying there, there's only so many people in grade 1, isn't there? And and then there's all these thousands of other players that want to play something. So we can cater. If you can cater for everybody, you're hitting it.
Do you guys think that maybe 5 or 10 years down the line there'll be a new, not a new, but there'll be all this new music that'll come out after the books have been passed round and folk have had time to digest and bands have picked up and stuff? Do you think there's going to be a new sort of showcase of music? What I've noticed in lockdown is that there's lots of musicians that probably wouldn't have played before that are quite happy to go on the internet and have a tune or get their pipes in or ask for help. I think that's the same with compositions. Because we'll go on to the other books that you've been part of, Davie. But there's so much new music that's come out. It's surely impossible that this new music's going to not be coming out of the closet at some point.
I think it's a strange thing because a lot of the time it's very difficult to get tunes played by other people unless you are a grade 1 pipe major and or a big name. Pardon me. But now with things like with lockdown and with Peter's Tunes in the House, that I've got most of my tunes out by sending Peter, and Peter's loved them, and you've loved them, Ross, and you've played them, and it's got them out to other people. One of the ones that seems to work came down well is Drew Hanna Balmullo, which I've been the number of requests I've had for that tune is unbelievable, just from Peter playing it on his show, and it's really good to hear that folk are liking what I've done and what I'm doing, and it's very difficult to not want to carry on doing that when you're getting feedback from your peers.
Have you this is your first book that you've brought out of your own composition?
Technically it's my second book, but we don't talk about the first one because it was there's about half a dozen tunes in the first book that are actually any good.
But
compared to
that build up to the first book, then were you confident in your compositions, or were you just wanted them out? You didn't like, and is it different from the second one?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mixture, to be honest with you. With the first book, it was around, I think it was about 2005. I did it, and I did it just for the sake of doing it, and I managed to get a printer to do it for free, which you can tell by the quality of the book actually. But it was a project for myself. Got some done, and I sent them to people. I think there's 3 or 4 tunes from that book that I've worked on and put into, let's call it the proper collection of tunes. But as a composer, in my opinion, I've improved over the years because I've learned more about my playing and how to play, and it's not just kind of throwing notes down and hoping that they all work.
Yeah.
I think one of the things, and I'm sure you'll find this yourself as well, when I'm composing stuff, I might write something and I think, well, that's a cracker, that's good, and nobody shows the blind bit of interest in it. They're just not interested. And one of the tunes that you thought was kind of, it's okay, takes off, and that's it, and everybody starts playing it, and you think, gee whiz, what's happened here, you know? And I've also found, and I mean, I'm over 50 now, and I've found that tunes I wrote when I was 20, somebody picks it up now and starts playing it, and it takes off. And it's been lying there for 30 years, or it's even been in a book.
And that's my point about the books that have. And we've better get on to what you do, Davie. Actually, you better tell the audience what your job is.
Well, my actual job is I'm a installation and photocopy engineer for Xerox. That's my day job. But I do a lot of typesetting and design work for other musicians, and have been doing that since 2007.
Yeah.
I
didn't know Davie before we started this venture to do the book, and he had actually put a thing on Facebook to a friend of mine. Well, it was a girl I taught actually. Lana Lane, and he put on about a book, so I messaged him and said, what's this books? Because I'd been meaning to do it for a few years, but never got around to it. And when you start off with these great intentions of doing these things yourself, and then you find out you can't actually work out how to put numbers on a page and make everything the same size and things, and that's where the master comes along like Davie that can. And if it hadn't been for him, this book still wouldn't have been out. So it's great.
I originally started off in 2007. I did the typesetting for the first Gordon Duncan book for the Gordon Duncan Trust, and then I did the reprint of the Few Tunes in Mayor, Roddy McDonald's book, Ross Ains's book, the book 2, try to get this in numerical order. Don Bradford, who was pipe major at Glasgow Police at the time.
He's had some great compositions.
He has.
Great player.
So again, one of these composers that's done loads of tunes, but they've never been published as a collection. It's always been, if you know somebody that knows somebody that's played it in the band, and you'll get a copy that way. But the biggest one I worked on was 2017, which is the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders collection, which I think it was something like 300 tunes in the book.
Wow.
Almost 300 tunes in the book. And it's set out like the Scotch Scars book, so it's that long style.
Yeah.
But it's like a doorstop. It's rather thick. And we're currently working on book 2 as well, which is probably another 300 tunes.
Yeah. I've got the Argyll one, it's great.
Yeah.
Good. In fact, that Argyll and Southern Highlanders book, and one of the friends of the show that comes on, Jamie, he's introduced me to a heap of 9/8s, and some of them are there's some great West Coast 9/8s and 3/4s in that book. That's a good book to reference.
It's almost like a kind of a stalwart that they're trying to make. So it's like the Scotch Guards book is a book you've got to have. Scotch Guard book 1, 2, the Argyll's book, the Gordon's book, and all that, just because it is. It's got so many of kind of the tunes you need for a band. You know, the Hills of Argyll is a fantastic tune, and that's the first time it's been published in a military collection. It was published by the composer originally. But yeah, it's book 1 for that. Book 2's in progress, but it's really slow progress because it's a lot of work to do that.
Well, I can thoroughly recommend you to anybody that wants recommending. And folks, if you're looking or thinking about a book, there's Davie's web. Is that your email address or website? That's the website.
That's the website. That's the website. Yeah.
That's the website, and it's been totally painless. I've thought about it for ages and tried to do bits and pieces myself. Never got around to it, and this man's made it work. So there's maybe a load of you sitting out there with a bundle of tunes thinking, maybe why have I not done this? Well, why not speak to Davie? I'm sure he'd be interested to hear from you. And it's been so easy because there's been wee things like proofing and that, you're sending it back nowadays electronically and saying, "Oh, Davie, can you change that? I've missed a repeat sign out there. Could you put that on?" Yeah, no bother. And it's back.
And just to be clear, for everybody watching, it's not just pipe music, is it?
No. Anything at all. Anything at all. Pipes is my speciality, but mainly because of the embellishments. I know how to do the embellishments and all that, which is I use Sibelius for a lot of stuff because it is the cleanest kind of reproduction of music you can get for printing. But I work in Pipe Music Writer. I can work in Pure Master. I can work with PDFs. And if you've got handwritten manuscripts, I can change them over. It's all doable. When I did Gordon Shan's book recently, he had all the stuff in Pipe Music Writer done by Kyle Rowan, but it wasn't looking the way he wanted it to look. So we converted it to Sibelius files, and it just makes it a lot cleaner to work with, and it's a lot easier to read. Because you find that even with people with dyslexia can struggle to read music if it's not clear, which is bizarre. You think it's only words and numbers, but it can cause problems because not being able to read it properly. So that's kind of what we're looking for, and doing it that way so that everyone can read it, and it's all kind of a standard format. And just take from there.
Have you got all set of tunes up your sleeve?
I'm going to play a slow air actually. Give me 2 seconds and I'll find the page because I don't know all my tunes off the top of my head. It's called Remember the Mona.
All right.
The Mona was a lifeboat from Broughty Ferry, which is where the folk session I go to on a Thursday night, the Fisherman's Tavern, is right beside the lifeboat station. Right. And the Mona was built in I'm going to read it. I've got it written down. It was built in 1935, and apparently in its time it saved 118 lives. But in 1959, it was called to assist the North Car lightship, which is currently docked in Dundee near the City Quay, which was adrift in St Andrews Bay. It went out, and none of the crew returned. That was it. They all got wiped out. So the crew of 8 was killed trying to save the lightship even. So a friend of mine called Kevin Finlay, who's a fiddle player with the Boogaloosa and Mad Parrot Caliban and things like that, he wrote a whole piece of music about the Mona, and it was based around the SOS kind of Morse code signal. So it's that kind of rhythm. And then I kind of got my inspiration from that to write this tune. It is for the pipes, but I will be playing it on whistle to see for the evening.
Magic. Great stuff. Take it away.
Take it away. That's a lovely tune, Davie. A lovely tune.
Thanks, Ross.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, lovely melody, very strong.
Good.
So, career-wise, you played pipe band stuff.
Yep.
Then you went into the Celtic rock stuff for a while as well, didn't you?
Yeah, it was about 2000, 2000 and I think it was 2013. I was playing in a Celtic rock band in Dundee, and we managed to get the support slot for the Tiny Music Festival to open up for Manran and Capercaillie,
Really?
which was a phenomenal trip. The only awkward bit was we arrived on the Thursday night, so we were playing on it was the Friday afternoon we arrived, and we sailed from Oban to Tyree, and then all of a sudden it was the hottest day of the year, and because we'd been up so early on the Thursday night, we were up early to get to the ferry. I fell asleep in the sun, and I was a lobster for the whole weekend, and it's just I'll send you some photos and you'll see what I mean. But so we played on the.
So you didn't need any lights on stage.
No, I was a beacon of truth on the day. So on the Saturday we opened up 3 o'clock on the Saturday. We played to a crowd of no one. No one was there, but we were opening the stage up. It was Stuart Cassels who actually introduced us on stage that day. And then they kind of came, the guys from Skerryvore, Martin and that came up and says, look, one of the bands is having to leave early. Can you play again tomorrow in the tent? And like, we're here anyway. We don't leave till the Monday. Yeah, that's no hassle at all. We played in this tent, and from front to back was solid. It was packed. It was bright sunshine outside. I really feel sorry for the band that was playing on the main stage, because the word obviously got around that we were playing, and it was just packed.
What was the name of that?
The band was called Amber Road, which no longer together. But we played there, and Norrie McKeever from Manran at the time was standing at the back. I've known Norrie a good number of years, and it's still disnerving to see somebody of that caliber stand at the back and listen to your band play your first kind of major gig. But away from that, we had a bit of a falling out. I went to another band, kind of same again. That's where I recorded Broken Road as a demo, which is on the website. That's kind of my introduction to Celtic rock writing, a 3-part reel. And then I kind of I played in folk bands around Dundee. We actually played the open mic at Glenfarg as well. Mm-hmm. And that's around at the same sort of time I got asked by Colin Melville, who was piper of the Tanhill Weavers at the time, to come and join them at Glenfarg for a set of tunes. And then a few years ago, Phil Smiley, who stays over in Tayport, he asked me to fill in for the piper on a recording with a guy called Davie, who is an Irish guy living in Belgium. He wrote a fantastic song. I think I sent it to yourself, Ross. Yeah, it's called The Ghost of Mick McMara, and it's a stunning piece. And he asked me to kind of play pipes on that. So it was really good getting to kind of work with the guys to produce something that's so fitting as a tribute to the soldiers in First World War. Yeah. But other than that, pipe bands are the main thing now, and it's kind of solo piping engagements, weddings, and all that sort of stuff. At the moment, I'm still trying to get back into the folk scene, but with all these sessions kind of locked down as well, and just not able to sing, not able to play in pubs, it's a bit annoying.
Yeah,
but
tough, eh?
Yeah. But it's just that way with everything just now with things. But we're trying our best to keep it going, and it's given us all a chance to get all these books out, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
When are you hoping to have your book out?
So the book is just kind of getting finished up. I'm waiting on the forewords being written by Fred Morrison. He's writing the foreword for it, and once that's done and the final proofing's done by Lord McDougall, then it should go to print probably this next fortnight, next 2 weeks.
Brilliant. So you'll keep us in touch with that as well, and we can advertise
yeah.
that for you and things, because that's the whole point of this. And it's interesting earlier when you were saying about when we were talking about people bringing out tunes and they'd never been played, or if you weren't famous, folk weren't playing your tunes. That's the kind of idea of this show. We're wanting to show people that there's all this other stuff coming out and all that as well. And there is new composers out there, and et cetera, et cetera. So,
and if you've got the likes of Fred Morrison and Lauren McDougall writing on the front of your book, you're in the right you're in the right place.
I'd hope so, yeah.
you're doing all right with that.
Some may not know that Alan Tully, who's pipe major of the St Lawrence O'Toole Pipe Band, has a project he's working on called Write My Medley, where he's kind of writing and arranging medleys for pipe bands as a kind of a secondary job. He's been using some of my stuff as well for those medleys, so he's obviously enjoying some of the stuff that I'm writing as well. And
fantastic.
Hopefully there'll be bands competing with some of my tunes in the near future if pipe bands ever get back to normal.
Great. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get back to something. We'll be able to march on somewhere. There'll be something. Listen, Davie, thank you so much for coming on tonight. It's been absolutely brilliant speaking to you, and it's so nice to kind of see you face to face and speak to you, because you've been a great help to me, that's for sure. That's been absolutely marvellous.
Not a problem at all.
And I would highly recommend Davie here, folks, to anybody thinking of bringing out a music book. Get in touch. And you'll be able to look back and get the website off the show because it's all recorded. So, but that's it. And you, Ross, something nice to say to Davie?
No.
No.
No, well, I take my hat off to all the stuff you've done over the summer, like all these books that people are able to bring out because of folk like yourself,
Absolutely.
Yeah, so well done. Well done. Keep it up.
Yeah. Mine wouldn't have happened.
Stay in touch with the show, definitely. And if there's anything in the future you want to talk about, we can bring it up in the show or have you back on. That's for sure.
You do realise if it hadn't been for Davie, you wouldn't have had to climb the hill to show up top and stand.
My knees are knackered.
Yeah. It's Davie Hunter's fault that your knees are knackered.
Yeah.
Davie, thanks very much, man. You take
Thanks for
care.
having me.
Oh, stay safe.
See you again.
Take care. Thanks again.
Good.
Cheers. Well, there we go, sir.
Brilliant.
Brilliant night again. Brilliant.
Yeah, great stuff.
What a good mixture tonight. Just brilliant. We're having Beth on and then having Davie on.
And that's young people that are
Two young people
leading the way. I think music and the way music's presented is in a safe place for when we do get back up and running again and get out there for sure.
Yeah, and old people like me pop my clogs and all that, and there's all these young people going about.
This show's for your type, They kind of get out of the house, to kind of get to these live gigs. Folk like yourself, Peter.
Once I get this,
you're welcome.
My big chair to sit in. I was going to mention earlier, I forgot to say Sam Young over in Australia. Sam's had his knee done.
All right, I'll speak to him.
Because we hadn't heard from him for a wee while, and he'd got in touch saying he was looking for one of my books and Davie's as well when it comes out. So it's really good. So it's brilliant. So anyway, folks, thank you very much. Remember to email us if you've got any ideas or anything like that. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, email the show, definitely.
It's just been it's great fun doing this. Next week we've got two guests. It's going to be an interesting night next week.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Say no more.
So put that date in your diary. We'll be on halfway through the week as usual to announce who the two guests are. But I think you're going to find them fun. That's for sure. In fact, I don't know what's going to happen next week.
No, who knows? I'm going to have a bit of a theme next month, I think. One of the things that I enjoy doing is piping for Highland dancers. And it's a completely different discipline of playing, but also there's some great tunes there you don't normally play. Actually, I've been doing a lot of driving this week. And in my car, I've got your Into the Light CD.
Oh, yeah.
and the opening set of tunes for that CD is, I think it's a Grand March. Am I right in saying it's a Grand March?
That's right. Yeah.
And halfway through, like, you recognise these wee tunes all the way through, and then the middle tune, and that's the Chartreuse whistle.
Right.
And then I would never have thought of putting Highland dancing tunes into a set, but I've been thinking about it when I've been driving, and there's all sorts of tunes like Liberton Pop Band and Earl of tunes. There's great music. You can, it's great. So
why not?
You've inspired me. You've inspired me this week.
Chartreuse is a march. It's a lovely wee tune.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And the thing is that there's so many of these tunes out there that could be used all the time.
My theme for October is going to be dance tunes, Highland dance or Scottish dance. So that's my theme.
We've got a new CD coming out as well, another one with the band, but we got it semi-recorded, but we've just got to get it mastered, and then we can get it out as well and get that on the road. That last one, Into the Light, it sounds a wee bit religious, doesn't it? But it actually isn't religious. It's not. Because you see, it was because our first album was called Out of the Shadows. So then we called the next one Into the Light. But it does sound like we're maybe going to play a set of hymns or something, but we don't.
And we're up for I think the midweek. Harry Duncan, that's a great friend of the show, he emailed me some music manuscript for me to learn.
Oh, brilliant!
I'm going to do that. I'm going to fit that into one of the mid-show broadcasts. But we had the email address at the bottom. So if there's any questions you want to ask us or any music you'd like us to play, tartantunes20@gmail.com. Just send it in to us.
Yeah. Might be a tune you've written yourself. You've maybe only ever written one tune. Why not send it to us? Let us see it. It'd be great. This could be the chance to go out on air somewhere. It'd be great. And it really is so good for making contacts and doing that. Yeah, Karen, thank you. My wife Karen's back.
Well said, Jamie. Well said.
Backstage there, working it out. Hope you're doing better now too, Jamie. That's good. Thanks for that. Right, I'm going to go because I'm working them on. Well, I'm teaching accordion. It's a pretty good job. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Good. And really enjoyed the show. That was a great show. And
you take care and stay safe this week, and we'll be thinking about you.
No worries. I'll see you soon. Right. See you in the Wednesday or something, eh?
Yeah. See you soon. It's good night for me.
And a good night from him.